Ewa na ewa, lone manu, lone mi manu. Mama, mama, lone ma, da lone ma, lone ma, da lone ma. Lomo ye, una noe, lone mo, ngabade gogo, ya lone mo, ngabade gogo, ya lone mo, ngabade gogo. Ewa, wana ewa, una mewe lomo mie, kuna wega londe lima, ya londe mo, ngabade gogo. Ana do bona oga egina, ana do bona oga egina. Ewa ana ewa, londe manu na muye, londe manu na muye, londe manu na wera boga egina ye, ne wera boga egina ye. Tono egana, longe la nyanga, ana egana lomo garenye, dua lomo bo anama. Dua lomo bo. Ana ele ngabemwe, ana ele ngabemwe. Ya kuna lomo miwa, ena we na londe mima, ya londe ma ngawade ibobo, ya londe ma ngawade ibobo. Ana elo ngabemwe. Ewala ana ewa, ewala ana ewa, londe manu na muye, londe manu na muye. Ana elo, egawa o, yena we, lomo miwa, kunu na muwe, londe miwe, ya dempa ngabate ibobo. Ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo. Ana adopanywe, ana adopanywe, ana mo adopanyo, malogo na wasanyo, malogo na wasanyo. Sande langu juwa ba walongo, sande langu juwa ba walongo. Enga ma wale kamo ba kabalo ne juwa o. Ewa ana ewa lone manu na muye, ana ewa lone manu na muye, lone manu na muye. Mwadana onga nwa, daona duale ngabemwe, duale kuna boge muderubo. Dawali edulu nyangela, diega na bebo age lodebo. Dawa pwede aliba momalo, gayele liba deo, gayele liba wolongo, dale nyarela digo mwebu. Nyango we da mongo pre, nyanga duba diga monu kwe, gedale yamalo wo bubale ye. Bobale ye peraga ye debo, bobale ye peraga ye debo. Ya moyo, ya mo papalo mema, malo ne bobale yenga, ya mo papa vale yenga, ya mo papa vale yenga. Nwadanga delu molebo, da denga ba denga ma yangodia, dedia ke ya ba lungowe, ya no wo vale yenga. Ya no abo vale yenga peraga ye debo. Ewa ana ewa londe manu na muye, londe manu ewa ana ewa londe manu na muye. Ana ewa, ana ewa, ana ewa, ana ewa, ana ewa. Analine, Pelagalo nebo, Analine, Pelagalo nebo, Anaelo, Malono, na Asanyo, Malono, na Asanyo, Monge bae Asanyo, Monge bae Asanyo, Monge bae Asanyo. Wanga newi nganwa, wanga newi nganwa. Walo kuna mbege elo newa, walo mbege elo newa. Alo maya ngayele kamoba, alo maya yele miniba. Abalo nebo abale yena, abalo nebo abale yena, abalo nebo abale yena. Yole nyala yolo mana, yole nyala yolo mana, yole nyala yolo mana. Malo nebo abale yena, malo nebo abale yena, nebo abale yena.
Okay, good evening to what I welcome all our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening. I am Afonso Zienso of the Liberal Public Radio 10 LPR-TV. We want to welcome all of you here this beautiful Friday evening here, pretty quiet evening here from the East Coast. We want to welcome you here this evening. Thank you so much. If this is the first time, we say you are wholeheartedly welcome. If you have been here before, we say good evening and welcome on the Diaspora Informative News Magazine, Liberal Public Radio and LPR-TV. Thank you so much. Let us unfolding. We are here tonight to have a conversation on some of the news making headlines in Liberia that you know, and we will be talking about then here your views, your thoughts on what is going on inside Liberia. I am your host and presenter, Alfonso Zienso, right here on the Diaspora Informative News outlet. Let's get the program going to right here, right now. Okay, we want to welcome you in tonight's program here at Alfonso Zienso of the Liberal Public Radio and LPR-TV. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to this Friday edition of LPR-TV Live with the Analyst. As usual, we are here to discuss issue, news, making headlines in Liberia and other parts of the world, especially, but our focus has been shifted to Liberia politics and, of course, all of the recent news happening here. We want to welcome all of you here this evening. On the sound of my voice, we say good to have you here. Thank you so much for your commitment to this network. What you continue to do, your support can be questioned. Of course, we're always here to have this conversation. And sometimes this conversation becomes uncomfortable, of course, because you might be hearing things that you really not purpose to hear. But our job here is to always keep the news fair, balanced, and proportional. And so, we don't usually say your way. We tell you what you need to know, what we need to discuss. And of course, we give you the opportunity to also contribute to the program. That's the difference. And that's what we do here, not necessarily what you intend or want to hear to appease your political desire. That's not who we are. That's not what we represent. Even though there are some liberals here who move in that direction, but we intend not to do that. We intend not to make no one to leave behind in the national conversations of the politics of Liberia. Welcome. Thank you so much. Let's take a quick commercial break, and I will be right back.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events, such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services, and your friends in business.
It's the media in excellent businesses. I'm Alfonso Ziaso. Good evening, Sister Richard. Antoinette, good to have you here. Happiness. Oh, I love that. Yeah, good to be happy. You don't even have to wait for somebody to make you happy. Be happy by yourself, because sometimes if you wait for it, it will never come. And when it does come, sometimes it becomes horrible. So trust me, you can make yourself more happy than any other person. I love that happiness. Good to be happy. Well, good evening. A lot is unfolding, happening simultaneously to what from Capitol Hill to the conversations has been shifted. We tend to shift the political dynasty in Liberia towards someone has stepped in the gap. What? One of the long-term servants, senator, controversial, but also a kingsmaker, political godfather, he's well known. The late Senator Prince Yomi Johnson of Nimba County. We all woke up yesterday from different locations, and that he has passed. Prince Johnson has been in the eyes of the politics. We all know where he started from and how he shifted the political, became politicians. We all know how the Civil War started. He was one of the actors and many others, but he became one of those who was really in the eyes and a strong decision maker who shifted the destinies of politics in Liberia in so many fronts, especially presidential. Where to whatever Prince Johnson leave his vote potentially to become the winner. Evident Helen Johnson Salif, George Weah, and that of Jose Newman Boyka up to his demise. Well, the analysts are here assembling cross country. We're going to be having a conversation here, and of course, we intend to bring you here as well to just say what is happening and what we should be looking out for. What are some of the conversations we are hearing now from our guys inside Nima, other places? Pundits, a lot of very conversation is ongoing. Let me bring in Jerry back on. He's a security analyst of the Liberia Public Radio. He based here in the ocean of Rhode Island. He's one of the Boasians. Mr. Jerry Bacon, good evening. It's good to have you here.
Good evening. Happy belated Thanksgiving. I was at Thanksgiving.
I call you, you never answer, you never pick up my phone. It said that you don't need to have part of your turkey. That's what it's a turkey.
Thank you. Thank you.
What?
No, I'll call you. So don't look, you're a deacon in the church. Behave like a deacon.
No, I'm not. I am not. Can't give me false start to you.
Okay.
You are the deacon from Baptist and all of that. So
no, I'm not a deacon.
Not on that deacon board. Your papa is the deacon, not deacon. Don't even go there with me. Okay, Mr. Bacon, good to have you here. And how was the holiday, by the way? Let's.
It was good. My holiday was good. I mean, it was good. I had some guests from Worcester. My cousin came from Worcester, and we had a blast. It was like a family reunion. It was all good.
So, I can see the remnant of that blast in you, or the fatigue is still there. Well, someone, I thought you were carried out. So what you were doing it? You did it a Catholic way? Holy Mary,
No,
one.
no, it was a mix. It was a mix. We got Catholic, we got Methodist. My wife's a Methodist, and so the different way could be done.
It was a combination of all, right?
All religion,
Henderson were on ice as well.
everything.
Yeah, one thing I let it gather people, everything, all involved, all
Uh,
things. Okay.
we had a Hennessy, we had a Courvoisier, we had anything you think about it was there. Your own stay there, your God was still there. Anything you kind of God was still there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I thought a liberal persuaded you to not to pick up my phone call, not to invite you and stuff like that.
I was never, ever, 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 ever. That's not who I am.
Okay.
I
Okay,
don't
good
trust. I
evening.
don't trust French. I don't trust French friends because of maybe about no. That's not
No,
who I am. But
not
anyway,
it.
go ahead, sir.
Okay, and to welcome to Mauritius unfolding at once simultaneously the game of politics, the gear, the momentum, the conversation shift from one thing to another. I don't know how long this ceasefire going to hold, and I believe on a temporary basis, and sooner or later we're going to see what's happening here. But out of a shock, unexpected. That's the uncertainty in life. You know today, you know the second. You just do not know what the next minute or hour brings in life. That was the situation. That was the scenario. Because when our newspaper, I got a call from one of our guys from inside, from as far as nearby surface. I woke up overnight and saw that message. I just couldn't believe it. And the next thing I saw was on Facebook. I called, placed a call, and say yes, and other news outlet was carrying it, the demise one of the powerful senators from Nimba County, who was a kingmaker, especially when it comes to elections. Everybody directly and indirectly tries to win his support because of the vote-rich county of Nimba is very crucial to the presidential win season in Liberia. So that was very good. Hey, good, Mr. Morgan. Good to have you here as well. So that's happened yesterday, and we're seeing a lot of the social media, to electronic media, to going full blast in different forms, context, interpretation, talking points, and all of that going, which of course is not a surprise to me in the sense that the social media has managed to change the narrative of conversation, which other people still don't understand. But when you woke up yesterday, I believe you saw that news surface as well. What was your instant reaction?
Well, it was unbelief. Hello.
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll hear myself. That's what. I was unbelief because my brother had called me and said, "Do you hear what I'm hearing?" It was at 4 o'clock in the morning, like here, local time, and I was like, "Yes, I saw it, but I didn't believe it." But then, what's it? How you call it? Liberian investigator or investigator Liberian, or I think one of the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Liberian news investigator. Then then it was a flash on front page Africa. That I said, no, this might it is true because there's no way the two independent newspaper was fabricate such a story. I thought it was a crime, but then of course started coming in. How can I woke up and I say yes. Now we're able to see the vice president. But the interesting part is because on Monday he was let's say in Kanta, yeah, in
Okay.
Nimba, in Kanta, honoring his program at his university. So Monday, Tuesday, and to hear such sad news, I mean, it was devastating. But you know what? That's God will. He know our time when to leave. He know when for us to come, and that's reality. We owe him to it. It's our. You never know when you're gonna leave.
Yeah,
And go ahead.
yeah, it reminds me about this book here, literature books, Wotton Sankawolo, so nobody knows when he would die, so that was is part of it. But I personally during the heat of the civil crisis, I saw and experienced Prince Johnson, depending on who you talk to, the interpretation, no matter what, and people should not get in their feelings because there will be different forms of expression depending which demographic or people that you talk to, their own personal experiences, interactions, or whatever. It will be various, and I see this ongoing. And I was one of those that saw him vividly, experienced, listened to what he says, saw his actions and everything that I really, really to remember vividly during the heat of the civil crisis, especially after the death of Samuel Doe. For those from the Crown ethnic tribe, which happens to be one of me as well, we left Ghanansville. Central Monrovia was the shelter, especially to the back training center at the time my brother left Ghanansville and moved to Bassa community. Bassa community became tense, and then more or less sheltering BDC up to the demise of the president, and then subsequently to after being evacuated. It was a sort of extraordinary experience, and it was just by the grace of God, because even up to the time of President, when his convoy left from the 5th, I believe Tuesday around 1 o'clock, Bassa community going to get water from the water were very scarce. Even though the Dix family to go into Police Central there. Just crossed that road leading down to Busequara when the convoy descended from the executive mansion through Ken Johnson Road, and then across the bridge. And then in less than an hour, 30 minutes within that gap, we saw the explosive coming from across the bridge, and that had a story surfaced that the president at the time, Samuel Doe, was captured by the then INPFL Prince Johnson. That was on the 13th, were evacuated at the port. And that's where I saw the reality of life vividly and saw who the guy Prince Johnson was. It was a very horrifying experience. Many Liberians, schools of Liberians was then seeking to refuge at the LPMC warehouse, of the many warehouses they have at the Freeport of Monrovia. The specific place we were at the time was under the command of the Guinean contingency. I don't know. I'm not sure what I've ever went through this way, but I've said this here before on the network. He visited our site twice. The second one was horrifying. The first one he came, and I remember the broader table, came with his guys, and we temporarily a mass choir. Yeah, we turned to a mass choir. So now there was a song that he raised, a thing that we used to do, we'll not do that no more. Yes, I remember that song vividly, very, very well. They brought a big table. He went on that table, his guys. I mean, right in LPMC, the Guineans were the one that was commanding that area. You have the Ghanaians on the other side. And I remember, bringing Terry. I'm just sharing that because we have had this conversation here before. Mr. Collins, good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Soul.
But at the time, if not all, but predominantly people that were evacuated the Freeport of Monrovia were from the Crown ethnic tribe. But prior to that, he visited the Barclay Training Center twice, where there was some sort of disagreement. One of the warrior fighter that used to be with the AFL, Tilly, when he saw him, he said he wanted to kill him. And it was a heated argument. Literally almost gone exchange. Then the President Dose said no. This guy has surrendered. You're coming to make peace. Until he said, no, Prince Johnson is a guerrilla. This is a tactic. If you don't kill this guy, you will be killed. I mean, he came for the first time, came for the second time, so everybody will rely. But Tilly was very much very hesitant of that it was a guerrilla tactic, that you were trying to put a fear aside. And but what he did too was, at the time, Barry was completely out of food. So what he did after he came for the first time, he went and sent, rice, and he came. He was once in the AFL to meet General Kama, who was the chief of staff, and that look, he needed AFL. They needed to join forces to fight Taylor, and then Taylor guy was being very tough. He was still doing. At the end of the day, Taylor he was executed by the AFL. Billy Dorr, who was our chief of staff, Philip Kama at the time, because he found out that he had some of his crazy boys too. So that one, but that was and that was right. It was just after that time. But then after everything, September 1999, everything changed when the president went at the port. And then people began to say, oh, Taylor was talking, he's saying. And I'm telling you, when we were evacuated at that port, what was interesting to make that war was a kind of real terrible one was most of the AFL guys that you saw, the late Colonel Larry Milton, all of those are people who were helping to facilitate people going to leaving the country. But then all of a sudden, when we went at the place there, you saw those guys, they appeared. With then the field marshal, and more or less, he was called the field marshal. But I'm telling you, when this guy appears before you, you just want literally for the ground to open. I'm telling you. And he said, look, I stay long in exile. To be in exile, it's a difficult thing. I told Ekamo, and that's where everybody started getting nervous. I told Ekamo to bring you people here. No one is going exile. When you look at your friend look at you, and I'm telling you, literally my entire family, brothers and sisters were in good numbers in that place. When you look at your friend look at you, you have nothing. It was a complete, people were stunk. So it was just I don't know, maybe you might know this guy, Colonel Peter Thomas, who was Deputy Police Director for Administration at the time for Samuel Doe. Dr. Jones, the link is out there as well. Then Peter Santodi, who was formerly with National Housings, and who were in the house, just how we all were sitting, these guys, especially those that were military and paramilitary officials, they try to disguise themselves. But it was a very, very difficult and fearful thing, I'm telling you, Jones. People who went through that scenario at the port, they will tell you it was very, very, very crazy. Sitting down here on my right hand side, I have Peter Thomas, Director Peter Thomas, saying to the side, remember, he had a whole hair tie like an Arab guy because they tried to disguise themselves. But it was a difficult guy. You have Larry Milton, who was initially with the AFL in the Barry. He being in the army, he knows all of the army guy. Colonel Terry used to be with CID or police. So he had the representations of people from different paramilitary institutions. They were there to identify people who were military person, who worked for government, a crime, and all kinds of. It was crazy. Looking at your photo, see whether there was a boot. So the guy, he came, he said, "Oh, Colonel Director Thomas, you are needed. You gotta go. We need manpower." You have those guys, during the heat of the time, the people they recruited to kind of people who joined and know one another somehow, some way. It was crazy. I'm telling you. I think I don't know how that arrangement was worked out with the ECMO or what happened, what not happened. But I just look at you and say, Terry, you were in the immigration, or you're in the CID, you're in the police. you're good to go. And they will go and they will take you away. Nobody says anything. I was among one of the 6 person. The first day he came, he did like 1, 2, 3, 6 person. But there are certain positions when you find yourself, you just feel like you are dead. You don't then that whole spirit left in you. So we didn't know where we were going. Not knowing, he took the group to take us to the Ekomot Ghanaian side, and that because people were eating living cocoa, dry cocoa seed, man, LPMC cocoa that left over in the warehouse that were eating the one that was in shape out of the country, Who said, they're going to prepare food. But everybody knew at the time, once he take you in that area, more or less you could be a dead person. So we got there, I saw this guy, formerly my former schoolmate, but he was in the next section to taught me how a normal person. I look at it like, we got to make friends here by force. So I said, hey, comrade, how you doing? He said, oh, good. So my man, yeah. I said, yeah. He said, okay, yeah. So I LPMC, where was it? He shook it. He said, no, that's not a good place to be. We will be coming in there. Jeddah. He said, I advise you get a family that live from that welcome that I could help to get you out of here. But if I'm even saying doing that, you will be executed. He will be executed he said the field marshal will execute me. Because the concept was everybody left. Why it is not true, but 90% people that were evacuated at the time from the Barclay Training Center, for folks that were across the bridge, they were perceived to be the crime ethnic group or people of Samuel Doe, which of course in totality is true, 90%, because that was the only safe haven. But there were other tribal people were there. But that was the concept. And even up to the time we were driving, the Ecomo was carrying up. By the time we passed by Eurobank, descending down Bushel Island to cross the bridge, we were in the truck. And people, the signal from surveillance, our street war, that shows that you are going in a danger zone. Because when the train sound that they're carrying you, then crime that this is that you're going to kill. I mean, it was just horrifying. And what the guy said, it was true. So I told my brother then, but besides that, brother, he used to play. He used to play for one of the 3rd division teams. So the guy, most of the other people joined, the other man joined, he told the same thing. His fiancé at the time, still in Nima, could speak the man on well. Met with one of the commanders, he said, hey, you gotta get from here. I mean, and what made it worse, it was, I believe, on that one Tuesday or Wednesday when he intended to capture the barrel. It was a heavy fight. But that didn't work through, and he sustained heavy casualty. So when he came back, he bulldozed his way through and collected people and put people on the buses from the Ecomo base to Carwell base. That's where the whole that's where the whole narrative changed. But there was one Gambian contingent, a Gisiga. This interrelationship is very, very, very much vital. Conant Gay, calling Conant Gay. Anybody who went through the free port of Monrovia or who was actually in Monrovia and knew about that story, how people were moved to his air carrier base, and the person that led our rescue mission was Conant Gay. But I guess some crackhead guy. This guy was one crime guy, they call him Kamatik Gay. I've still been searching. I'm not sure whether he's alive. I think he used to be with immigration, but some people who were there prior, some of them have gone. When he came for the second time, that guy said he wanted to assassinate President Johnson. Just imagine a place of over 300 or whatever people, about 3 warehouses facing one another. They brought everybody outside. So what the heck this guy, what he trying to do here when you have commando people hanking these heavy machine gun? So even if you were to kill him, you know what's going to happen to the rest of the thousands and thousands of people there? As God may have it, that didn't happen. And I got put people on buses to the Ekamo base. And it was Conan Gay. This Gay, he's a Gambian contingent. The Gambians had a very small contingent. Gambia, has been a kind of, when they said, no, this cannot happen. We got to bring these people back. But then people were grouped into categories of people that faith. You from this group, you used to work with this government, you. It was a complete chaos. It was a nightmare. And ultimately, people were released, and that's how we got out of that place. And then almost 1 month stay at that Ecomo's base before people were evacuated. Solotisa, Bob Challenge, funny ships we went by the way of Freetown. But he was such a, but like I said, depending who you talk to. He been perceived differently as the Messiah for one group. He was saying as Guto for every group, and that was the act of the Civil War. But I'm telling you, at that time, you could not look in the eyes for that guy for like a second. And when he said, I told Ekamo to bring you people here, nobody is going exile. I know living in exile is a very difficult thing. Here we are today. We all woke up yesterday. This has happened. So you talk to people and will have their own saying, their own interpretation. There are a lot of things going on the social media, but in his own way, very influential with his people. He was saying as the lifesaver. He was saying as the Messiah for them. He was saying as the, when you talk to the other side, they will have their own side to say and everything. And when he re-echoed how the president and this one were killed, when he came at the program. So that was sort of a rethinking of what is happening. But I think he was such a guy who was kind of like really, really brave. Just imagine you and somebody fought for all of months, year, and you walk into this presence on a garrison. Army man would say, if you will, put out that sort of bravery, and everybody kind of like, okay, yeah, let make this peace. People were saying to be authentic or genuine, and we saw at the end of the day when the president was captured and why he was doing. But at the end of the day, ultimately later, the media presidents of the people, they make peace and they allow bygones to be bygones. And here we are. And just yesterday to hear that the former senator of Stoney. But obviously, he was a big political kingsmaker. So the key question here now, will this change the trajectories of the politics of Nima? There are other folks there. Not everybody, other people have their own side of the story, being seen as a dominant force for the politics of Nimba. You see now that there will be some sort of a breakthrough with the politics system. Would that happen? We do not know who will really step in the gap. But even if someone does, they would not be as strong, powerful, influential as Prince Johnson, because Prince Johnson was very vocal. He was always speaking out. Let me bring you in here. Mr. Bacon, considering
Yes,
all what is happening now, the politics of Nimbat, do you think they're going to shift?
tremendously, it will happen. In a sense, is that you see, history teaches us when another leader dies or leader emerge, and their leadership is different from the other leader. So that's what we're going to see. But there will be a power vacuum in Nimba County because Prince Johnson was here as a hero for the Nimarian, and you are highly respected. If you watch some of the new outlet today, I think 2 persons died by hearing that Prince Johnson died, the senator.
Mm-hmm.
So, but excuse me. if you go back to history and learn, um, FDI, he's a great leader. Uh, Jackson, Lee in America here, even the former president, George Washington. These are great leaders who fought in the war, and people always march. So we expect they will not be powerful as the former senator. They will have their own political view, or because at that time there was a civil war that was going on, which of course that brought a vacuum. Now we had a democratic system in place, so it's a different ball game. So the leader that will come in, they're not going to use the gun barrels anymore. They're going to use the ballot box to be able to solidify their position or how influential they're going to be. So these are things we have to study. If you read a book called Just Called War, written by Dr. Zomelo at the MIT, some of the things that are happening, yeah, the person that you might look at as now your hero is a hero to them. Let's look at Muammar Gaddafi. People look at him as he was one of the enemies of the United States. And Pen 103, when it happened, and people think he was, they consider him as a hero. Gaddafi, not Gaddafi, Fidel Castro, who America fought for years. And other people look at him as a hero. Let's look at Hitler. Much as people hate Hitler, a lot of people still today, people still got followers. So it is history teaches all these things. So when these things happen, you got to go back and do your research and do your analysis, and some other way in March. Well, is that the equivalent to that of it was a different era? Let's put it in a different perspective. It was a different era. President Johnson came on the scene 1980 after the coup. And these are the boys that were there that met President Johnson of, I'll call his name. You were the post-active commanding general. These are people. So these are the people who emerged in Lima, who were in the military. So, and now we have a new era, which is after 24 years now, 3-time senator. 3-time elected senator, but right, he was a doyen of the Senate by his statute, and Jeremiah Cohn now is a vice president, rise from Lima County. So there will be people within the Lima County caucus who will also want to be, but right now Jeremiah Cohn is a shining star in Lima County by virtue of as a vice president for Lima County. So it will be his responsibility to unite Lima County. I think he said in one of the newspapers today, we are not divided, we are strong. So it worried, but these were not words. So let's see how you head on the leadership. Because as you said, Prince Johnson was a tiebreaker. Whatever he landed, there was people following. He had a track record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me bring in Terry here. Terry, good to have you here. Let's profile the next political Tao are going to be playing in terms of I don't know which political institutions or who can infiltrate the system to get that position comes special elections or whatever it is for. But let me get your instant reactions when that news broke out. What was your first instant? What for the first thing that came to mind? This sort of news, this is what most likely going to be happening in the game of politics. What was your first instant?
Well, I was shocked. Mr. Bacon, senior analyst, security. How are you, sir?
Thank you, sir. I've been for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I saw the chicken in the oven that you were cooking. Labor did not invite you, but it's okay.
Yeah. They were just giving the other turkey for honor hand, and while you were grabbing, you see him coughing like that.
Man, anyway, I'm not even going to disclose where I am, so let me forget about it.
Don't get in trouble. Don't put yourself. Yeah, I don't know. Don't put yourself in a situation you can't handle.
You guys really enjoy our money.
That the president birthday party, the opulence.
Look at the man's chest. The man's chest, his chest falling on his.
Okay, you know what? Let me say that. Let me say that straight before you can come for me in trouble here.
Mr. Baba is getting the flag.
Terry, you welcome. Mr. Boyer, good evening. Welcome. Every weekend, this guy, he's to Washington, D.C. Why are you looking for that?
Well, I ain't Washington, D.C. I'm telling you, Washington, D.C. Let me tell you, I ain't New Hampshire. Fuck it. New Hampshire.
Oh, you get office, play a bit one office and
No. I get my application play. I can come here all the time. I got application home here. So don't put it that way. So say you want to know, let me give it to you. I'll bring it one day. If you're willing to come, let's come for application. I think that's what I need to do to you.
Is it as far as JMB won the bottom vacation home in New Hampshire? JMB can't know what that's.
We gotta send LSCC on this kind of thing. We gotta LSCC need to investigate some.
The main get position man, they're friend of the president. So LSTC ain't read that level. They're friend of the president.
And the president friend with a yellow machine.
The border guy home to is that to the White Mountain? I've been to that White Mountain.
Yeah, the Grand Estate.
Exactly. You get an idea. You got an idea. White Mountain, yeah. You got it right. You got it right.
Only 4-term senators in the U.S. Senate are allowed to buy homes in that place. It's got to be 4 terms at least. Buy a home in that place.
And then guys, less than 11 months, definitely buying home to New Hampshire.
Seriously, my man. I got my man trouble tonight.
Mr. Bagon, you need to carry Mr. Soda and baptize him. So
hey, my brother. I don't know which season you want to go. You want to go next weekend? You want to go?
The reason you see all of these leaks and things there, they want eat until they eat their air, but they don't eat and throw the crumbs for the other people to eat. They don't eat and eat all that. Why the man because they know what's going on. So you know what?
Don't worry. Let me get my own. So still come down.
Don't carry them, man. They make walking wrong. You see what made our other report after today, the major president and liberal one time. The other report
oh my goodness.
But Mr. So quickly to the issue.
Yeah. Let's look at the I think that seed would be a kind of a tossless seed because not too much ongoing. Other people will try to position themselves to put themselves in the shoe, and of course, everybody wants to be a godfather. Whether they will be that type of godfather, but everybody wants to find themselves in that position. But quickly here, what was your first reaction, your instant, what's going to happen to the politics of Nima as it relates to the national politics in Liberia?
Well, to be honest with you, my first reaction was that the information is not true. That was my first reaction. I had to cross-examine, jump to every media platform to validate whether if the information was true. And then I saw it on, let's say they can say Copa Network, I know Spoon and Spoon. I saw the guy reporting from Spoon TV, then I begin to see the house because actually they went to the house to take the body to Strecker. Then I said, wow, so this is real. Then after a couple of hours, I begin to realize that the spell is broken. That was the first thought that came to my mind, that the spell, that Boule, that controlling power that he had over Nima County is broken. Let Mr. Bacon put it right, that in centuries, there were heroes, like the heroes of Alexander the Great, the heroes of Julius Caesar. Like when these guys pass on, the spell, the charm that they have over the people was broken, so the people had to forge a new course, like President Doe, the late President Doe, when he died, you know. But one thing stood up to me is that, like, I asked myself a question just a while ago, and that may be funny, you know, for the platform. Who was the devil that JMB were talking about that he was that he dancing with? Was the devil? Who was the devil now? Because can the devil die? Because so who was the devil in the picture? Was it JMB or was it PYG? Because people have a notion that PYG was the devil, but the devil now is gone. So who was actually the devil in the picture?
So
But
who proclaiming as the devil now that he's gone? The United Party supporter then bow. Wow.
So I don't really know who was the devil. If somebody killed the devil or the devil killed somebody, I don't know. But however, Nima County now is going to look up to Jeremiah Kuhn. In my view, Mr. So, that is the political turn, because they are one step away from the presidency. So the best shot they can take is Jeremiah Kuhn. But whether if Jeremiah Kuhn can handle it, can handle the role of Prince Johnson, I doubt it. Nobody can take it for him. That commanding voice, that commanding power, the desire for elections in Liberia, that particular charisma that he carried, I doubt that Jeremiah Kuhn can carry it. Maybe the people may listen to Jeremiah Kuhn, but I'm going to be looking forward to see who hands Jeremiah Kuhn lift up. For me, already I'm looking at Koga, the high man in the play there. But whether if Jeremiah Kuhn can lift a hand up and he win the senatorial seat will be what I will be watching out for to determine whether Jeremiah Kuhn have taken the touch from PYG.
Okay, quickly, let me go to Mr. Goyat, and there will be two questions: his instant reactions, and whether there was going to be a change in narrative of the politics in Nima, as people used to look up to this guy who was actually the most influential politician for Nima County. Now, would there be some sort of diversity? Is there any role in the politics of Nima? And you're quite correct. From all indication now, you see Koga is walking our walk to occupy that seat. From all indication, listen to him speaking here. But Mr. Goya, good evening. So welcome.
Yeah, good evening, panelists, and happy post-Thanksgiving, I guess. So yeah, I think actually it was my wife that woke me up this morning to say, because you know I'm a news junkie. So she hit me on the side. I said, what happened? She said, oh, bring yours in down. I tell her, I said, my friend, man, I went back to sleep. Right? So when I got up and I picked up my phone, and then I started seeing it everywhere. For me, the first piece was that it was shocking because I didn't hear that he was sick. So that was kind of shocking from that point. But then I started to think about, for those of us who have been on this internet for a long time and dealing with politics and history and how people distort history, my mind went directly to what is going to be the narrative now. People are going to try to create now. Because we remember the issue in 1980. For a long time, April 12th, there's a group of people that will celebrate April 12th, and just the main Doe and the rest of the people, the Native boys came, and they did. For them, history started on April 12th, 1980. Nothing before then mattered. It's almost like when I talk about the pastors, like when we talk about John 11:35, Jesus wept. They don't talk about what happened before Jesus cried and what happened after Jesus cried, right? All they know is that John 11:35, that day happened at the end of the day. So I started to think about what's going to become the narrative. And we started to see that all around Facebook or everywhere now with people with their own little feelings and everything else. But look, as far as Nimba politics and Liberian national politics go, love him, hate him, detest him, however way you want to, Prince Johnson was the single human being in most recent Liberian political history that had control of a very majority black, that he had swear over and said, we go this way, and they went that way. Even Samuel Doe didn't have that. He had to pick money back from Lofa to get some Lofa people. Now he didn't have all the Renji there. He didn't have the Taylor, yeah, because of that special election, yeah, maybe Bon County, yeah, right? But for somebody who has done it for many years, so you imagine since Taylor left the country, Ellen Johnson, 12 years, George Weah, 6 years, and now Joseph Boakai being bequeathed with 6 years. That's 24 years. 24 years that Prince Johnson has been the single determinant of who holds the power of the presidency. 24 years. So love him, hate him, whatever, that man had a political capital that nobody else in Liberia has enjoyed, and I don't think anybody else will enjoy. I think Prince Johnson saw this coming. That was the reason he lifted the hands of Vice President Kun when he handed over the reins of the MDR before the elections, and he took him to the vice presidency. What Kun does not enjoy is that connection, that heroification, that lionizing. Whether you trust the history or not, is not what I'm here to argue. But that lionizing that he fought for us, he stood over us, he defended us, and so we can entrust him with our destiny. That the people of Nimba County here in Prince Johnson is not something that you can inherit. It's not an inheritance, right? And so it's going to be tough. I really don't. I think Nimba County is going to become a battleground state now. It's going to become a battleground state because without Prince Johnson.
Mr. Goya, quickly talking about that becoming a battleground state. So, do you think now, with this sort of vacuum, with his demise, would that put Nimba County in a heavily contested diversity, and people are going to be, because the dominance of Prince Johnson is unquestionable. And he was very forceful, he was very vocal, saying that perhaps maybe from his participation from warlord transformed to politician, and the sacrifices professed to be made for the people of Nimba, which of course they value, they have all reason to do that. Will that diminish?
That's the point. And that is why I'm saying yes, because if there is any smart political party out there, you knew that Prince Johnson was a gatekeeper in Nimba County. We, Liberian People Party, with a prominent son of the soil for Nimba County running Tewa Gonglo, it was difficult for us to have traction over there because Prince Johnson was a gatekeeper. He held that place down. So a lot of political parties that didn't have money, they spent a lot of time in Nimba County. It was only the CDC. The United Party didn't even go there as much because they trusted Prince Johnson and just control that whole place. So it was the CDC went there more often. Kewangolo went there quite a few times, but that was about it. Everybody else felt like it's almost like a Republican trying to go to you're running for president, you're spending your time in New York campaigning. You're not going to win nothing.
In Massachusetts campaigning.
Right. So it's not, you're not going to raise money, but you're not going to think that you will win the votes there. But with the passing of Prince Johnson and my condolences to his loved ones and the people of Nimba County, but now the ground is open up. Now every political party that have an eye on 2022 will be smart to start to build offices and coalition in Nimba County. Because Nimba now becomes for the taking. Jeremiah Kun can still carry a majority in Nimba County, but it's not going to be the 70%, 80% that we're seeing with Prince Johnson carrying, right? And there is no other person that the Nimba people love that much, that they care for that much, that say, yes, he fought for us as Prince Johnson. A case in point was Roland Duo. General Roland Duo tried to run. You saw how the being like he didn't even fight war for Nimba County. Right? And no other county has that. Nimba County, Grand Chile, you got Thomas Yaya. Yaya said he struggled a lot. He doesn't have the whole Nimba County, right? So Prince Johnson had that stronghold. And I think now, for me, what I'm looking at is whose hand is Jeremiah Kun going to raise and how well that person does in the election to take that seat. I'm also hoping that the likes of Edith Gonglo, I know she burned her political card when she did anything, but she allowed herself with the CDC in the runoff. And the last election, she competed against Jeremiah Kun. So can she go back for a second round now that she has allowed herself with the CDC? Can she now go back and do the real battle and see what a Prince Johnson legacy was fully passed on to Jeremiah Kun, or she might then fell down on the highway?
So then let me ask this question. You inserted something very, very much interesting. But our parties, they are not strategic. They do not have a long-term plan strategy. They're going to wait on the eve of 2029, then they start running to those places here. Now, let's do a little bit quick poll here because you brought something very interesting, and Nima will be heavily contested. If you look at all of the political parties, I can tell you CDC should have done better because under the we-are-led government, there were a lot of investment went to CDC, but CDC, they don't know how to talk and they do not know how to say it. Because if you look at the roads, you look at the infrastructure, under George Weah, Nimba County heavily benefited. But were they in the position, they really articulate the agenda, the work of CDC? They didn't do it. So what they did was take a fight toward individual who you know that when you take a fight to, you will not definitely win. And that was Prince Johnson, and that's what it did. So looking at all of this now, when the old man is laid to rest, if you look at CDC, you look at Unity Party, it is own party. Who can cut through the corridor that in Anima? Terry, who you think get the edge to do that? Check your mic.
Like we're saying right now, right? What Prince Johnson have accomplished in Nima County cannot almost be replaced. But the Nimbadians are traditional people. How are they traditional people? Is based upon what they suffered during the war. So because of what they suffered during the war, they seems to come together, almost like the people from Granjida County. So they are one people. You can't break them. They can force. They can. That was a year. Some people say, "Oh, Prince Johnson and Jeremiah Kun were making flour." Those things happen. They can force. They can fall down. They can fight, but they will never break apart. Just like the people from Granjida County, because of the history. So they're going to be looking for the man who's gonna have the touch. So since Prince Johnson recognized Jeremiah Kun as his son, and now he's the VP, he's the one they're gonna look up to. And traditionally, they're all gonna be like the ants in the ants bay. They're going to follow that person based upon the legacy, because they still need somebody to protect that traditional concept that was strengthened over the years from the war. So, you know, and all that kind of thing. But my fear here is, what would President Boyka do? Is he now going to move the goalposts further by mending between the two counties? You know, by using this scenario of the death of PYJ, President Doe is gone, PYJ is gone. Will he use this time to bring reconciliation as a president, as an older guy? What is he going to do with what have happened? You know, that is also something I'm going to be looking out for. But my thing is that, Jeremiah Kun is the guy. I get it. That maybe Tewon Gonglo is going to come. I get it that maybe a Musa ability is going to come, but the weight will not be equivalent to what Jeremiah Kun will bring to the table. All right? CDC, like you said, they need somebody from that block that have the ability to maneuver in a tribal setting. All right. And one of the guys that will do that is Samuel Koga. Unfortunately, they are distant away from him. So even if they say, "Oh, we don't want Jeremiah Kun," you need the likes of Samuel Koga that can go in and out.
Wait a minute. So are you saying, considering what is going on now within the house, his stand and all of that, could he be the projector, fighter to take this thing on to say, okay, the old man is gone? And I saw him today, he was talking. And what I have tried to sense out here, and I quite agreed, Nima, Lofa, they are traditional people, elders. It's all of the elders coming together and all of that. Do you think, yes, the woman going to be laying to rest, but these elders going to be, they say, because after Koga talked today, he said, yeah, even though I get it, but we have our elder, we have somebody, people here that is support. And so all of those people gathering here, trust me, conversation is ongoing. That, hey, we cannot allow it.
Please allow me to interrupt you a little bit. That is what I'm saying. The only man that can combat Jeremiah Kun is Samuel Koga, because he understands the tradition more than Jeremiah Kun. He understands the nitty-gritty. But CDC is going to wait 2029 They're not thinking about all the things. They're not trying to create war between the two people now. They're not going to do all kinds of things.
Do they have the resources to invest in Nima now to cut through that corridor?
That's the thing now. Even if they have the resources, are they willing to do it? That's the thing.
Okay.
Because they like to become personal.
As a former seditian who helped to bring George Weah to power and the banner George Weah, Jerry Bacon, provide all the counsel here. That would be a very, because like I said, CDC was perfectly suited to have made an argument about Nima County, but they just don't know how to talk. That's all, because Nima benefited heavily from President Weah. It comes to road infrastructure, all of those local work, but they don't know how to say it, and they took a wrong fight. You are a sedition, will always be a sedition. Even when they go, they can still come back home. Do you think CDC can that?
I said I want to know.
Sedition. I'm telling you.
Listen. I'm a man of my word, and I've learned. No, hold on, my man. Give me a check. You see, don't always try to suffocate me, please. I learned something from Bob Dole when he was running against Bill Clinton. He said, "My word is my bond. My word is my bond." There's no way I will go back to CDC. I'm done with CDC. That's the CDC myself. I have some friends who say who is in position in the government, in CDC government. So that's something different. But here's the thing. Let me say this. There are 5 tribes in Nima County. Right? And there are 2. And you talk about Nima County, that's the only 2 tribes you hear about. The other 3 tribes have been ostracized. Jeremiah Kuhn, Nima County is deeper than what you think it is. Jeremiah Kuhn is a stepchild to Nima County.
Yeah.
Okay? Jeremiah Kuhn is a stepchild to Nima County. And bear in mind politics, it will play a significant role. When push comes to shove, all these things then will surface. I'm from Nima County, but you never heard of my tribe in Nima County. We have been ostracized. The B tribe, we are Manu. We and the whatever you done.
How many times y'all get?
Numbers rule the world by. You get only 10 people and then leave it alone. Your other becoming view of man.
That is not true. We are not going to be. The Bible children, we are the same people. Okay? We fall in the same group. So when politics come to politics, I want you to think about it. All 4 are here tonight. All the other people that listen to us. When politics come to politics, then team will start falling apart.
Yeah.
So it's something for all to look at. There are 3 feminine people that you see, the Koga guy and Benedict. These are the more outspoken individuals right now in Nima County. So the touch is going to be between Benedict and Koga, Samuel Koga. These are the 2 people who will be looking at. The vice president, yes, he's the vice president, but does he have the charisma to talk to the Nima people, like the 2 gentlemen? Ability and Koga. These are the 2 gentlemen that we need to watch out for the next maybe another 10 years to come.
Sissy, I don't agree with this guy here because of his liberal talk, but he says something. People always, in the African settings, this tribal thing somehow, some way is a factor. Now, the Godfather who brought in, you saw even during the heat of the election, to some extent, Jeremiah Kuhn is the man from, I think, southeastern, Maryland or Grant, somewhere, where he said he got either a mile or somewhere from the southeastern side. It was a little bit something. But this was the old man who ignored everything and say, this guy is my son. Now, the owner of the town is no longer there. And in the city, they get in the town, they get some frisky children there who who quick to put their finger on when there are old people talking. Now, what Jerry is saying now, do you think we're going to have some frisky kids in our town and going to start raising their finger? After all, they made he was not even from here, say, how should now he want to do this? Those sort of funny talk going to be coming. Koga here, I try to do a look out which his background, which block he came from, region in terms of what the vote is going to be like. You're talking about Ida Gonglo. She contested twice, I believe. She served as a former superintendent, but the idea brand name in politics is very, very much vital. Even though then that brand name was the late Senator Prince Yomi Johnson. Prince Johnson is not there. Ida Gonglo, where it came from a minority section to sector 2 with Nima County, whether that politics will not also play in, it's kind of like difficult. But with respect to what Jerry Barkan was saying here, do you see that coming? Koga ability, and we to throw Ida Gonglo way into that as well. Can it be narrowed down to those 3 persons?
Here's my thing. The whole thing about Jeremiah Kun being a stepchild of Nimaka, they came out in the senatorial race and he won. It came out. It was used heavily. So that's a moot point. It was used heavily. And Prince Johnson raised his hand and he won. So I think a Koga and ability that came out because of a kerfuffle in the House. Why has Benedict been talking? I'm here looking at the election results. I'm looking at the election results. Benedict took Jeremiah, not Jeremiah, but Ellis coming to Nimakande. Go look at the result. How many votes you could get from that? Benedict is a non-factor. So I'm looking at with Prince Johnson alive and raising the hand, the godfather of Nimba County politics, raising the hand of Jeremiah Kun. Jeremiah Kun defeated Edith Gonglo where by 3,700 votes. By 3,700 votes.
That's small. That's
very small.
Small than you.
Very, very small. It was 36% to 33% about. So 3% margin. Less than the invalid votes. But there are about 6,000 invalid votes. And so here is a strategy that the CDC can be the first to fire a bullet, the war stop at the ruling establishment. They had to fire the first bullet using DeLong at the CDC. Here's the CDC chance. Do you forget about picking somebody who is an original sedition and doing all these things, but the person can't win? Or do you do like you did in Lofa County? You go for somebody, even though they're not a sedition, and you support them on hand to win. Because if the CDC right now can coalesce and bring around other political parties right now that are not happy with the Unity Party, and they go against the Unity Party and how to call it, and MDR, I can tell you that will shake the ground. It's not a Koga, it's not ability or a disability. This thing has to do with
They all come to RIA.
You would never, I don't know a party will ever take you. The way you don't talk your own thing, you're not going to deal with any party.
But here's my point. Here's the point I'm trying to make. We all remember that DeLong thing, right? When that was the fresh shot that people fired at CDC in those elections. I would say this to CDC. If there's any CDC listening right now, I know you don't think you have answers from me, but I would say this. This is the chance for George Weah to start letting us know indeed if it's come back in 2029. Even if you don't win, but if the margin is so small between the person that Jeremiah Kun picks and who the CDC lays out against them, that will give us some insight into saying, yeah, the CDC is really thinking about coming back. But if they either sit out this by-election in Nimba County or they pick somebody that get dragged massively, I think it affects their morale. I think it will not be good for them. So I think I hope this is where all those people who graduate political science that are in the CDC are now thinking critically about who can they reach out to outside of the CDC that they can actually feel to fight for this seat. Because if you can yank this seat, this Prince Johnson seat, you can buffet ground hold it for NDR. That is a big win.
So the question, a big one. Are they willing to put in resources, infrastructure, like you said, start doing the groundwork now and create some sort of political havoc? And talking about that, I do know, I'm aware, during the former president, we had last visit to the US. He visited my own Ocean State as a progressive, young, smart guy from the Nima County that they are having conversation with that I know, making those preparations for 2029. But in order to cement and build that tool, they must be able to get somebody who will also are up there to remain relevant. Now, with CDC play that smart, say it, Mr. Bacon, Collins, to really start putting some sort of investment, start investing into someone now for that, because I don't know, that would be a special election. It would be a special election. Usually what the guideline says, how long it should take, the way they get money.
I think they have to first declare the seat, but the first have to declare vacant, and then after that the clock starts. Yeah, but they haven't declared vacant yet. So here is the thing, and I know Mr. Bacon want to come in, but real quick, let me land real quick. Here is the problem. If the CDC thinks that they can export expertise, carry these expatriates into Nima County to run their election, it will be a failure. Just how they used to take my Uncle Tama and carry him there, the people will come out. But this proper alignment, they don't see you. What the CDC did with Thomas Fala is what the CDC got to do in Nima County. Exactly. You have to use the sons and daughters, prominent sons and daughters of Nima County, to run the campaign in Nima County, to be the face of the campaign in Nima County. Not people who fly by night, can we, I think I call it killer beans, right? Those yellow those school buses, can we killer bean boss in the net and then go by the next day? It can't be no killer beans politician. It has to be people that the people recognize and they are there daily. I tell you this though, the CDC is the only political party, opposition political party that has the capital and that's able to pull this from the hand of the MDR.
Find that information. Yeah, I just want to. I want to agree with
Ambassador Dan. I don't know whether you are available. Just send a message here. We want to get your take here. You are the son of Nimats, considering what happened here. Even though you are seditious,
you will bring better data this time because all the data you have election time. You want
to join us? Just send me a thumbs up. Yes, send a no. Let me send that link to you. We need to get your take as to what happened in your own country. Now, go ahead, Terry.
So I want to disagree with him a little bit and agree with Mr. Bacon in some area, and then agree with him too in some area, especially when it comes to if CDC do not match somebody from that particular location, they will not succeed. I agree with him on that one. But where I want to disagree, like right now, you don't see what her name or Mrs. Gonglo would have. She will be a fine candidate if the CDC use her, but the way Prince Johnson died, she's not there. She's not the face. The people not seeing her. It could play in some factor. That's what Mr. Bacon is saying, which I want to agree with. The Koga factor is playing in right now. People are seeing him. People are seeing these guys coming up to show face, on the day Prince Johnson passing. That alone could create sympathy for the Nima people. You need to do all those kind of things. You need to appear. You need to show some respect in order that, like President Weah, they send, some something. But
let me tell you 2 seconds there. Talking about Ide Gonglo Ware. Ide Gonglo Ware is a former superintendent of Nima County. What happens? What are you talking now? Based on what you are talking now, because we are just talking with what we have in the bubbles. Comes Stephanie Raw and we see Ide Gonglo Ware surface in Liberia. What does that tell you? Would that change the conversation?
Well, it might, but to me it's late because, like, for example, right?
She's not there now. Is that what you're saying?
Funeral, anybody can go to funeral. Funeral is everybody thing, all right? But when he died, your first approach, all right, is very important. Now, she could do that maybe within a period of time before the funeral, which would be fine. But you have to show yourself on camera. You have to go to the main place. You got to show that sympathy. What you are doing, you're also creating sympathy politically. It's a political move. Like Koga then, All that thing Koga talking down there, that political strategy, there's a political move.
Let me say something
In
real
my
quick.
view.
Let me say something real quick. The man just died, and the woman should be jumping for America to run there. That's the fact problem. Number two, let's put it in. The man was alive. The woman challenged him while he was living, and she lost by 3 percentage points. So you really think she need to go kowtow to him to win? The man who won by 37%. If she can coalesce the rest of the political parties, they can beat them. She ain't got to go to Prince Johnson Grave. First, she can go dance on Prince Johnson Grave and still win. The point here is that this woman is a former superintendent. Number two, she endorsed the CDC during round 2. She endorsed CDC during round 2 of the presidential election. So she already got a CDC. She already got a CDC.
Yeah, but
she doesn't need to go.
I agree it will be a fight. I do agree that it will be a fight. But I am saying from my view, I will give Koga the edge if he's gonna go in. And so if Jeremiah comes back, I will give him the edge. I'm not saying it's not gonna be a fight, it's gonna be a fight. But based upon what is happening now, because Nima County is a traditional place, the death of Prince Johnson have created a loophole. The dynamics will change. The dynamics have changed in the minds of the people. They will be looking at the people who reconcile with, who go to the family, who was there, who is talking, people who understand the nitty-gritty of the Nima people politics. All right. And somebody who affiliated with Prince Johnson. They will look at that person and might give it to them. And that is just my view. So that in that, like, I want to start with Mr.
So
I'm not saying she will not be a contender. I'm not saying she will not be a contender.
Before I go to back on here, I see 2 things you are arguing on. What she was say, empathy or sympathy on the part of Koga's present appearance and all of that here. Would that be something to factor in? Let's see here. Let me go to Jerry Barker.
Okay.
Caller, is that water?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Captain, good evening. Welcome. Just hang on there. Let me go to Mr. Barker here to see whether he can be the king's maker for this one here. Mr. Barker, you heard what Terry said.
Yeah, listen. I was born in Nima County. I'm a step child of Nima County. My tribe is one of the Manu tribe in Nima County. So I'm speaking from Nima perspective here. What happened in Nima County? I'm not. So even going look at her track. Look at her track record. She had lost two senatorial positions, even though just by as a former superintendent, she lost. Who held Tom Grupi here when Tom Grupi was running the first time? Tom Grupi when she ran against Tom Grupi. Why they entered in the Supreme Court? The late Senator Johnson held Tom Grupi and delivered. So now the idea here now is the godfather is like a little child in the time. You want to be that child so bad. You want to be that child so bad. But each time you go there, the power will protect him. The power will protect him. The power will protect him. Now, the father is gone. The protector is gone. Now, he said, you know what? It's time for me to I'll whip your rear end. That's what's going to happen in Nima County. Who, Jeremiah Kuhn? Yes, like I said, Jeremiah Kuhn, it was a vacuum. Jeremiah Kuhn was a stepchild to Nima County. But with all that, the late senator said, you know what? I'm carrying Jeremiah Kuhn as our vice president, Kennedy said, and I would deliver him and make sure that when he went, because he had a control of, not control, but let's say control. He had the leadership in Nima County, and he delivered. Now, Jeremiah Kuhn, he does not have that protector anymore. He does not have that protector anymore. So these are the things I'm looking at, and looking at Nima County, and know what Nima County stands for. Even the Nima County for it's a tradition or something. But of course. You see, one thing Nima County do, Nima County have the better word for it is the electoral college. The electoral college, these are the chief or the senior citizen or the permanent in Nima County. When they speak, the young people who are, that's it. When Prince Johnson wanted to carry Jeremiah for the vice presidency, what he did, he put the civilization one side. He called all the elders in Nima County. He said, "This is our child. I want us to support him." What happened? He delivered Nima County. So this, I think I'm looking at, and this is what I'm thinking. But let's see what happening if this is a test for him. They're coming by election. This is going to be his test. Now he's going to claim to the throne to succeed Mr. The late senator, to see who he's going to pick or where he's going to put his card to say, yes, I'm supporting the candidate. Whether he's going to deliver that candidacy. Then we're going to see whether the vice president going to be the tiebreaker in Nima County.
But you don't think so, Mr. Bacon? You don't think he can do it? You don't think
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is where his test going to come from. It's not what I think, but this is where his leader of charisma going to come, leadership going to come and say, yes, I'm carrying Coca or I'm carrying liberty and livability. One of the 3 permanent people that we're talking about. If he throw his heart behind it, one of the 3 individuals, and that person win, then he acclaimed the ladder. But at this time, it's going to be a test for him to see who he picked now to succeed Mr. Johnson. And Johnson, that seat is important. Excuse me, that seat is important because Mr. Johnson had had it for what? 20 years.
What are you have that brave person to take that sort of bold step, take the bull by
that's my point I'm making. That's my point I'm making. To say, yeah, I'm picking up Mr. Bacon. I said, Mr. Bacon, yeah, I'm carrying you. I said to see if Mr. Bacon going to win the senatorial position in that place. That's the question.
Mr. Stowe, one thing I want to push back on. Mr. Bacon talking about Edith running twice, I said it's a bad thing. In politics, no, you said she ran and she was defeated 2 times, so you made that point. So in politics, the longer you run is not a bad thing. Actually, it's a good thing because you learn, you build coalition, you continue to build upon those coalitions, you become a household name. You know how many times, you know how many times Joe Biden ran for our nomination and he kept being defeated, he kept building coalition. And you know how many times Kamala Harris ran for our nomination? 1 time. And so she could not build our same coalition. Edith Gonglo has run twice. And both of those times with Prince Johnson living. And both of those times were in a fight with Prince Johnson. Listen, I'm not proving a point. Both of those times with Prince Johnson living and all the traditions that we talk about alive with him. And they could not beat their woman more than 7 percentage points. They could not. Both times. With the conquering Messiah living, doing all the tradition, they could not beat their woman. Now when he's dead, that the time she does not become a factor, I'll tell you this thing. I'll tell you this for free. If the CDC can coalesce a political understanding with all political parties and one is Edith Gonglo way, I guarantee you the Unity Party will have to empty a lot of the bank accounts or a lot of entities in Liberia to win that election. It will be a big fight. And to talk about Musa Belete will only give 2,500 votes to Alexander Kumi in Nima County. That the man that get voice. No, man, the Belete is a non-factor. He cannot be senator in Nima County. It will not happen. The last piece I want to stress here is, because I brought the Belete part in, MDR will be jail Liberty Party. After the death of Councillor Liberty Party owner Bronsky. After the death of Councillor Bronsky, you saw how Liberty Party went away until one man bought a frame and carried it to Alexander Kumi, and other man carried the engine and carried it to Joseph Boaga. It's the exact same way the MDR will end up being. Because at the end of the day, the MDR, just like the Liberty Party, when they were laid out and structured out, they were laid out and structured around a person and not an ideology.
Okay, let's go to sedition turned independent. One second, just wait. Let me bring in, you've been holding on yet. To a sedition turned independent. I don't know whether you will be independent up to the time. Keto.
Yes, sir.
So let me bring you in here. You supported President Weah whereby now there's a big political vacuum to right now in Nima County. Do you think CDC will be smart enough to begin the process of investing political tools, structure, building infrastructure, to putting all the resources required to go with maybe a brand name, not just any kind of person and say we can't wholesale. No, they're not just all about it, but a brand name that you're not going to struggle with. But when they hear it needs, oh yeah, empathy, sympathy, empathy, everything going to kick in. Oh, you know, like Brent who did a vote that kind of way. Yeah, that crowd. They were 2-3 times. She not been fighting for the thing. She can't get it. Yeah, let's see. She was superintendent. But let's ask you quick. Do you think CDC will be sort of brave enough to begin to invest, put infrastructure in place if they want to break through the gap?
Most definitely. I would like to say hi to all my esteemed colleagues on the platform, and to you, CEO. So this is the thing here, and I agree with my brother, sister, 100%. Look, don't forget, Ide Gongo Ware is a household name in Nima County. The reason why Ide Gongo Ware could not outshine Prince Johnson is because the Nima people felt Prince Johnson liberated them, and they considered him their godfather. Prince Johnson is no more. Who do you think they will look up to next will be Ide Gongo Ware? Not the Koga, none of these people who are full soldiers for Prince Johnson or NDR can even come close. Not even the Jeremiah Kuhn. Jeremiah Kuhn, not even in the picture. Prince Johnson have to raise a hand in my country to even get to where he is today. So either Bongo Ware is one of the most popular politicians in my country. Whether she inside my country or outside, she one of the most popular politicians. CDC will do herself great favor because don't forget, after the first round of election, either Gongo Ware were making a case for CDC in my country. So it will only set the CDC right now to start to bring Ide Gongo Ware if she so desire to run contesting in this election. Will take place in the soonest possible time, to start engaging her, start putting weight behind her, and see where it goes. But another factor that will play that CDC can use as an opportunity to get the Nimadian, majority of the Nimadian people on their side is Josh Weah did a lot of development in Nima County under his administration.
But they were unable to explain that to the people.
Okay, so that's what's going to happen. Before this senator died, there's a rumor going around that he reached out to President Weah, former President Weah, to have a conversation with him. They should have met on Saturday. He died. So who knows?
Y'all almost go to that church down. Y'all still want to reconcile?
Who knows what I communicate? Go ahead.
So we need to first of all establish the authenticity of that, what he did, and who can really validate that. That's another thing.
Did the man forget the time to close the church down out there when they kept all the rock and they were talking into the main church?
Do my sister, you want to disposition you.
Yeah. No, on a serious note. So if that alone, let me tell you one thing, like politics is based on gossip. Whether it is factual or not, you just have to put something out there and people start to fall in line. If it is true, and let me tell you something, Prince Johnson, the rumors going around that he was being isolated by the Unity Party, the president, even his vice president, that he put on the Unity Party ticket, they isolated him. It will not go down well with the Nibadians who are like bent on this whole idea of Prince Johnson the godfather, knowing the fact that he abandoned President Weah. President Weah is just not an ordinary person in our politics. He's loved by the Liberian people. Nima County as a whole, if President Weah go to Nima County right now, Nimadians, regardless of what happened, they're going to fall in line behind President Weah. More especially if he carry a permanent daughter of Nima County and say, look, this is where we're going to go. CDC going to fall a bit behind this daughter. Trust me, Ide Gongo Ware will come out Victoria in Nima County, and it will also give an opportunity to CDC to at least get not big chunk of the board, but at least a chunk that will put up over the edge.
Okay, hold on 1 second. There are two caller guys. I want to come to you. Let's have some thoughts outside of the bear. We're here. 214-5215. Is that Clarence?
Yeah, that's Clarence Davis.
Mr. Davis, good evening. So welcome. You going to be the next senator for NEMA?
No, Mr. So I'm not going to be the next senator for NEMA, but I want to get a key contribution to this show tonight.
Okay, let's hear you. Thank you for coming.
You know, the situation that happened in NEMA today, the death of Prince Johnson, I saw many Liberians saying about the people from going to that. We don't die. People from NEMA the days. So one Prince Johnson who killed daughter when he that was going to kill this. These two men were born of women. So should we say they are just here because of travel setting? They get a Bible kind of wrong. NEMA is not looking for the leader that will be able to bring the two countries together. We are not only looking for leaders who will dictate to the people. So Prince Joseph never written, according to Liberian, he never written him, but he killed a lot of Liberians. Who killed the father of Prince Joseph? Sekoka father of the family, Wokoka, Womi, he killed, Womi Monkey. He was the party. When the war broke up, Prince Joseph and Sekoka from the sea, there's a 2 times a share common boundary. He executed the mere father. Sekoka. Sekoka and Prince Joseph are not being really a good thing, but NEMA politics, because of they are two from the same almost same time, and will always come in between them to talk to try in between them. So people looking at us say today, opening down the people are branching. When those are new people this. So what did they Prince Joseph die? Getting people are branching to do this. I'm not in support here. I'm not that kind of idea here. I'm not only. The only thing we are looking at now is people leaders that will come from NEMA to bring the two, because NEMA and Branchina, two for two borrowing countries. We can't live in that kind of life.
Okay, but so quickly here, what I'm interested in here this evening, considering this sort of vacuum, and we all know how powerful when it comes to the politics of NEMA, as Prince Johnson was sealed it up. When he takes a decision, ultimately that decision becomes final. So what we are saying here now, and you, who could be most likely a possible replacement of that seat? Where you think that seat going to go?
So me, I heard Brasese and the fellow from the CBC talking about eating. In NEMA, you have two major tracks in NEMA, the Gil and the Mama, and the Gil dominate the track in NEMA. And the person, the leader of NEMA from the model settlement. Do you think the Gil people said I got to get out of Prince Johnson to another man or woman? Okay, NEMA people may not go and get here to especially when the Gil side and the local. Say garrison you garrison you from one of the bigger districts in NEMA there too. But
Okay.
even getting away because Jeremiah Kun supporters now. So when y'all said that they again, when y'all go again to say the supporting either, I don't see the possibility. In the second point, I want to raise a Jeremiah Kun raise somebody here in our election. The Democratic election, they will go against Jeremiah Kun to 2029. Jeremiah Kun should stay that in the back, that is fine, fight for that very couple of things, because if you just saw the good that he will go against, and will go against in 2029.
Oh, wow. My goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, hold on. If you want to stay there, hold on. Let me hold you. Hold on.
If Jeremiah go against a lot of people will go against him.
I know.
So
you know African politics.
another Gil man, 2 or 3 Gil men get the rest, and rest one person here. The other people from the other district too, they will go against him.
So, in essence, before I go to the next caller here, in essence, if Jeremiah Kun doesn't want to be heard, just in case, I suppose in knowing all that is holding everything constant, hopefully maybe he might express his interest. But you are saying that if he takes a side, that will hurt him for another demographic voting block from NEMA County. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, Mr. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, hold on. Hold your thought. Let me bring in somebody who disagree with you. Let's go to North Carolina. Caller 980-0339. Are you there, Victor?
Yeah, I'm here. So good evening and good evening to the panelists.
Okay, let's make you the presiding judge about this here. Either Gonglo where Coca, the breakaway wing of the House currently now. Where you think this politics of NIMA are going to shift?
For me, I believe that Mr. Clarence said, NIMA politics, when you look at NIMA politics from the section of Craig Johnson, Craig Johnson has always tried to balance the politics between the two tribes, Upper Nimba and Lower Nimba. Craig Johnson was from Lower Nimba, which is from the Gill tribe. So most of the time, if you watch, he always tried to sabotage Gill people that got in the race for the seat in the Senate. He always supported a man president. That's why he supported Jamaica. He supported what's the guy that came on the UPTA. At first, he said he was supporting Koga, but because of the same tribal power play in Nimba, he switched and decided to support the guy from the UP. There was a little break between him and Koga. So I believe, in my personal opinion, looking at the play and talking to other Bible friends, I believe that the Nimba people will go for somebody from Lower Nimba, which is the Gill tribe. And no other person will be Koga because, like either Gonglo, Koga participated in the race and came south at the second or third. So Koga has a chance. Again, the CDC, they can either support either Gonglo or Garrison Yellow. I would prefer to support Garrison Yellow because the Nimba people, their politics is not female or male. That is the thing about the Nimba politics.
Okay.
So if they want to win that seat, either Congo is good, the woman scenario might play, and then because she came second to Jeremiah for the last election, I would prefer the supporting guys in yellow than either Congo.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Barcom, where are we going wrong here? You are a son of Nima.
But you see, my brother sister going here because Kennedy didn't win, so he promoting the sister, the sister. So that's one thing. So let's get it off the road. But here's the thing: either Congo, is she going to win the election out of sympathy? That's plain because she had contested for 2 times, she lost already. So probably they say, you know what, let's give her the chance. It ain't having to come to Wizard. Coming to Wizard ran 2 times before the article. Robert G said, you know what? Let's just give it to him because he's our son. He's been running all the time, so they give it to him. So is she going to win? And the third thing I want to stretch out here, she's just a coffee baker. Consider her as a coffee baker. She has not been there after she lost the election. She has not come back there again to say, yeah, I'm going to stay active in the Macante politics. And she has not been seen.
She's a what? A coffee baker?
Yeah, coffee baker. That's what I said. I said it.
What is a coffee baker?
Person who don't reside there and you go in there to see political office. That's what I'm saying. So she will be a coffee baker. That's what I'm saying.
So which of the politicians reside in the district that don't carry vote from Monrovia to go vote for them in Liberia?
Is she resident in the Macante? Is she resident in the Macante? Is she a resident of Niba Country now? Where is she right now?
That's why she was clear.
No, I'm just asking, sir. I'm just asking you now. Where is she right now?
I'm asking
you, where is she right now? You know, that's why. Listen, sir. Listen, sir.
So you don't want my answer?
So
no, because that's not how it been done here. That's not how it been done. Let me
hold on, Mr. Goya, hold on.
You want me to answer?
Let's Garrett say his avatar when you finish that you can see your own.
So that's what it is. So is she gonna win? Out of sympathy. That's what it is. And
I think win is what people want, whether out of sympathy, empathy, or
that's my point. That's my point I'm making. Is she gonna win? That's what I said. It's a proposition. I said, is she gonna win? It's out of sympathy. And say, you know what? She's our daughter. She had run 3 times now. Let's give it to her this time. And the best of it. That's what it is. So let's wait and see. What's going to happen? Let's watch the meeting, and let me say meeting election. That's what I'm going to tell who Jeremiah Cohen, the vice president, who hand he's going to pick and say, this is an individual I think we should support, and we'll find out from there.
So, Terry,
Yeah.
no, now you're clear. I'm talking about Terry. I'm going to be coming to Mr. Collins.
Yes.
What came out of Keto here, that was not a surprise. Immediately when I heard this here, I said, well, CDC going to create a narrative. And when you listen to Vice President Cohn, he forecast that already. You're going to see this happening. We can't do that. You listen to his speech, right? So he knows what we're going to be having. You saw CDC Talking Heads Studio, Susan, Bangay, and all the other people. They're going to be beating this thing here. I'm not saying that. But tendency of people hearing things, one thing over and over, the one that are unable to process to know whether it is true or not, is sometimes tend to be stuff. Do you see CDC running with this here? They start talking it already, and they will continue to talk this year to create that sort of political fuse, which most likely they might do. What are you going to persuade people? We don't know. What are you going to get some people, or ultimately, they don't know, but he was done fear no fault, because you will end up being doing damage control. You'll be forced to explain. Do you see them running with this here? Joseph Boyka did not treat, or Unity Party for that reason, did not treat Prince Johnson well. We heard Prince Johnson several times. The old man black my phone, he was not calling me. Whether it was fixed, he didn't come back. It was said, I don't know, you can speak or anybody can speak. Do you see this as a carryover thing by CDC all the way, even incoming special elections, with respect to that maybe Unity Party was very ungrateful to this man who gave them the presidency?
Well, CDC have a weapon. They have a propaganda to carry. That is why I said hypothetically that who was the devil here that GMB were recommending that you have to dance with the devil to win election? Was it PYJ or Jeremiah Coon, or was the devil somebody else? Because right now we see one man down, the man who everybody perceived to be the devil. So what is CDC message here? That when GMB came to power, he brought War and Economic Crime Code to threaten Prince Johnson, and probably this could have led to his death. That is the propaganda. Whether if
that's a rumor right now.
Whether if
that's a rumor.
Yeah, that propaganda, the politics, the propaganda. Once your propaganda can sell and the people can buy it, they're gonna use it. It's gonna work against you. All right. And that propaganda, it could resonate based upon the way how Unity Party fix it or attack it or deal with it. They have to have a counter propaganda to that propaganda, or else it might resonate, because there is a pattern here. There is a pattern we're looking at here, all right, of people claiming that JMB is ungrateful, he abandons people and all that kind of thing. And Prince Johnson was abandoned. We saw Prince Johnson complaining several times that blah, 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 complaining, especially on the War and Economic Crime Code. So that could be something that they could use. But the problem is that message can only work with a candidate that is formidable. Like what CDC said. Are you going to use the leg of Mrs. Edith Gonglo Wure, all right, that have weight already, that have a brand in the system, or a legs of Koga, or you're going to use a sedition from under the Sakemo tree who living in Maroya because he's a sedition and he's loyal to President Weah. So let's join him there. So you will be using a good weapon, but you don't have the right man to use the weapon. You got bazooka in your hand, but then you put military who can use the barrel behind the bazooka to fire it. Definitely that will kill everybody. So what I'm saying is that they need the right person to be able to pin that propaganda on the Unity Party and win that position. And if they do, that will break down the Unity Party plan. They'll have to re-strategize and work overtime for 2029. So I will be hoping to see what they're going to do, because they got two opportunities here. JMB is failing massively. There are other people too that need a job from the NDR. They are lingering. There is no job. So they got too much propaganda to work with. But how they're going to use it, that is the thing.
So let me go to the gentleman on the line. We are almost running out of time before, and now the folks on the live you will climax it. Let's go.
Because they took a shot at my Kennedy, so I'm still waiting to return the fire.
You still get Kennedy? Who?
I'm still waiting. Because when these people
who CDC already,
when these progressive, yes, one of the reasons why the progressive fail, and those are the likes of Mr. Barker, is they fail to understand data, and when they get into a situation, they punch above their weight class. Even Gonglo, where being related to Taiwan Gonglo, got nothing to do with what I say here today. All I say here was based on her data. When you look at 2014, the special election, she came in second to Prince Johnson. Every time she's run, she's come in second. And from 2014, she improved her margin from 16% in 2014, and she improved her margin to about 32% in 2020. That is what we're looking at, growth, data. Not just for nothing argument that the progressive brought to us, that they read one part of the book and then read the whole chapter and can't give us how big a situation they call it democracy in Liberia. This is not about Edith Gonglo. It's not about Taiwan Gonglo. It's about data. Show me the data and support your point and not a cheap shot. But again, that's what happens when you have progressives who don't learn what a progressive is supposed to be and you give them power and authority, which is why
let me move your card back a little bit.
Okay, I will come to that. But back on, you're going to respond. Let me come to the guys on it. Terry, no, not Terry. Keto, are you there?
You're gonna move backward, huh?
Keto.
Okay.
Keto, are you there? I don't know which car you're moving backward also. Keto?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, let's conclude you so you can
sorry
move. So you can move the car. Now, you throw a red meat in this year. We're yet to validate it. But if and only if it is true that the late Senator Prince Johnson placed a call to the president, and if it is proven to be true, the question now becomes, what was the essence of that call? What did the senator, if they told, what did he tell the former president, and all of that? Is this the talking point the CDC going to be pushing moving forward, holding the United Party and Joseph Boycott responsible indirectly that, yeah, well, there was a big political undercut on the side of the United Party towards the MDR candidate, and that could be the something factor. Is that a message CDC going to be running with?
Well, I don't know what the call was about. I mean, the call is going to be about, I don't know. But what I do understand is CDC could spin this whole conversation into, okay, we're trying to reconcile. Prince Johnson knew that he made a mistake, he screwed up, and now that Joseph Boyka has abandoned him, so I think he was going back to his root now to say nothing. And President Weah, like Liberian politician will say, Papi, I'm sorry, our food and fool us. So maybe I want the thing that will play and probably get the popularity of what's his name, former Senator Prince Johnson supporters. You know, will get filled with his supporters. But again, he needs President we and our CDC will need a permanent daughter or son of Nima, permanent citizen of Nima, that the Nima people already have favor with. You know, they in serious agreement with that politician in Nima County. And I can tell you, somebody throw in Garrison Yellow, he's another factor, but he's not as popular, very popular as Edith Gongo, where when it comes to the whole of Nima County politics, I think Garrison Yellow is politics is kind of a local, so it's confined to a particular locality. Unlike Edith, the brand name Edith is thicker than Garrison Yellow, all right? And the only person that overshadowed or Edith Gongo was Prince Johnson, and because he used the godfather status that he has Nima under his control, stuff for so long. But I think Edith Gongo well as a seasoned politician, sitting mayor, I think she was sitting mayor for superintendent for Nima County. All right, I think she has all it takes to give CDC a chance in Nima County as compared to Garrison. Garrison already was sedition. I think you already support even the co-government. Other than got some kind of sympathy with CDC, so it's not a big deal. I'm talking about a bigger part. I think she will be, and that narrative will work.
Okay.
It will work because Spring Johnson did not hide his word. It's quite wrong.
We are already out of time. We are already out of time. Let me go to
Edith had 32%, Garrison had 14% in the last election.
Yeah, Clarence, let's get you quickly.
Let me give my last thing for Kaneko. You see the issue with Edith Gongo, right? You know how politicians, when they stick out to one thing, they just want to be to that one to do something. So me, the person vacancies are in Nima Nama. If Tiamu could raise a hair in a race, Tiamu can let's start victory in Nima County. But when they stick to one thing because they want to be, everybody want to be president. This is an open opportunity for Tiamu to be able to gain a popularity in Nima. Instead of his sister, because he had tried to attend 2 or 3 times. She had tried 2 or 3 times. If Tiamu can get in that race and become a senator for Nima County, he will take the place of Prince Johnson in my area, and Nima County will be highly respected. Thank you for the show, Mr. Mr. So.
Okay, this guy has created, he has inserted something different here. And before you reply to your progressive partner here, let me come to you. You are Tier 1 guy. And this is not common within our Liberian politics. Did they see that as a demotion?
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Okay, we gotta let you go because you may talking. Sissy, it's not common. Unlike the American politics, the man can leave, contest for presidency, come down to want to be governor, want to be this. Our people can easily do it now. And this, on the other hand, is a big political gamble. And at the same time, long-term payout to stand on something. Can I get more people nosing or whatever, or build, get some resources, and then from senator to the presidency? Now, do you think ever in your mind, if you were called to be on the council to advise Tier 1, say Gongo, is that something possible you think that he can do to take a political risk for Prince Johnson's seat, and then you have people like Kogarden coming in and all of that? What could possibly happen in such a race?
Well, so first thing, Tier 1's a friend, is a personal friend, and everybody knows that I was a strong part of his campaign for presidency. The councillor and I have not spoken since Prince Johnson passed, but the councillor is the most recent standard bearer of a very strong political party, the Liberian People's Party. So I don't know at this point if he's thinking that way. But if I would say something, and this is having said, I have not talked to Tier 1. I have not advised Tier 1. We haven't talked about since Prince Johnson passed. We have not talked. But Mr. Gonlo had told us that if there is anybody that can do the work that he was looking for at the time, he would not run, which was the presidency that he felt. And that was why he ran. And he's always said that for him, it's about serving the Liberian people. So I really do want to believe that when the calculation comes down to folks telling him he should run, and he understands that he can serve the Liberian people better in the Senate, I don't think there's any job too small for Tier 1 Gonlo to do for the Liberian people. It was in a similar fashion when this government reached out to Councillor Gonlo to serve in this government. He said he wanted other people because he had been there, done there. He wanted to give a chance to other people to do the work, to come there and serve the Liberian people differently. So I don't think Tier 1 is big to run for a house or to run for Senate or to run for city mayor or even be clan chief. But we have not had that conversation. And you know me, when we do have that conversation, I'll be right back on this platform to tell you.
What happens immediately after the show? What happens immediately after the show and such a conversation bomb?
Then I will come back to you and tell you, I have another show. I mean, the question that I will tell you exactly what happened in that conversation.
No, but I mean, for people you are in approach now, what would be your honest let's cut up what are it's for discussion purposes. Assuming that conversation takes place, and he wanted your honest opinion.
You get on Trapezo. You really believe that the counsel that I will call my friend and brother and probably said I want to bring you to Mar-a-Lago, there be us everybody which I come pass and see it. But look, let me be very frank. Let me be very fair to you all, right? I want to be very fair. I want to be very open, like I'm always saying. If I'm in the room, and I'm not going to say anything about strategy or everything else, but if I'm in the room and that question comes up, and Tiawan Gonglo has been asked to run, there are some calculations I will look at, and I will be one of those people telling him, yeah, it'll make sense to run. It will make sense to run. But I don't know. I don't know if that conversation has been started, and I don't know if some of those variables that I will be looking for, and the other people in the room will be looking at, or that Tiawan will be looking at. I don't know if we're able to account for those variables. But if we can, holding all things constant, assuming everything is normal, yeah, that'll be a good decision to make.
Okay, so we are quickly before we go, we are already out of time. Yes, it's
2 in 1. 2 in 1. Huh? 2 in 1. So don't you think if he becomes senator, possibly become senator, it will weaken his chances of becoming president politically? 1, 2, or do you think that, you know, I lost the thought of the other one. But okay, do you think that he's still going to run in 2029?
I mean, I'm going to trouble. You brought me here today to I don't know what they will do tomorrow. But here's the question. Here's the answer for you. Y'all keep talking about this thing, and Mr. So and what's his name, real quick. Keto talked about this. That CDC did a lot of good thing in Nima County, and we're not able to talk about it. I'm using this to answer your question about whether it would diminish his ability to run for presidency. It has to be about your why. Why did you do it? If you can clearly articulate to the Brempo that the why I ran for the Senate is the why I'm running for the presidency, to serve my people. It's a game changer. The ANC failed to do that when Cummings was put in the hammer. They could not explain, which was a logical reason why he was in the hammer. But they could not explain their way out of there. It's the same thing with the CDC. They could not explain all of the good things they are doing in Nima County. They allow people to take a material problem and put on their head and become a big problem for them. So I think if the people around Tier 1 at the time, if they can explain the why and convince the Brompo, it would be a good thing. I don't know if I'm going to be in that circle at that time. I don't know when the next election comes whether the councilor will still want me to be in inner circle politically. But I think if you can explain the why, it will not be a bad thing.
Yeah, and that's the why. That's the funny point that most people they ignore the why, the how, and when, all of that, depending how you do it. Okay, the man from Doro. Do you want to be the next senator for Nima County?
Why not? Sure, I can.
Just about to leave your hand.
I gotta say, I have to send my idea to him before he can lift my hand up. I gotta go to him first. But yes, here's the thing. This going to test His Excellency Joseph Boakai presidency. It will come right back to his feet. Yeah, why? The sitting vice president from Nima County, the deceit of Mr. Prince Johnson, it also opened a vacuum in Nima County. Now, if Mr. Jeremiah Kuhn, the vice president, raise his hand and say, I'm carrying one of the permanent sons and daughters of Nima County, in consultation, because I believe, and I know before Mr. the vice president raise his hand to do, I think there will be consultation with the president. So this is one of the things I'm looking at right now. So let's wait and see how he's going to play it out, because it's also going to go back to Mr. Boakai.
Yeah, I think that's a critical point, because the president, he doesn't want to find himself on the losing end politically. So if they find out that they do not have the resources and do not have the suitable candidate that's a winnable one, the best thing is to just go adopt a go slow attitude It better you don't participate than you participate, and then it just cut you down because Nima that's some kind of ground. Even like a law father would say, okay, the president, God forbid, something put no fire, say, yeah, okay, that is home ground, he would do something. But Nima now is a very dicey place in the valley corridor there. So,
real quick though. Look, the only reason why the Unity Party picked MDR as a running mate was because MDR could deliver the votes in Nima County. That was the only reason. Jeremiah Kun has to show to the Unity Party that he can still deliver 2029. They don't have the luxury of making the mistake the CDC made. See, when the CDC stopped fielding candidates, they stopped having data. They stopped having data. You can go into an election and you lose, but you lose and you look at data and say, what is the data telling me? What are the electors telling me? This is a special election. This is the first test of the arrest agenda. If they don't field a candidate in this race, they run the risk of not having data. Even here in the States, you see it. In rare Republican district or deeply blue Democratic district, you will still see a Republican running, even though they know they will lose, or you see a Democrat running, they will beat in a market door, but they will be running. The reason there is we need data. We need the exit polling. We need to know what our electors are telling us for the next election. If they don't field a candidate in Nima County in this election, they will be running blind in 2029 in Nima County. That will be a problem for them.
Okay, so Terry here, as we're about to wind up here, George is trying to create some sort of chaotic situation in our end conversation here. He is now literally endorsing, then that person will be Koga. Koga has positioned himself as a political Goliath or guru for Nima County with this whole...
Terry just let him because the man to our LG are all business.
Oh, I mean, our LG too? Hey, so Joy to RLJ.
No, Koga to RLJ. So that what Terry let Koga for because like that.
Yeah, so what I'm saying,
I just let a man because the man brave. They play what everybody can say. That other side, I won't go there. That the time the man can say.
So okay, yeah. Well, unfortunately, the senator is no longer around to ask him, but I'm not sure whether Koga. We got to do a fact check to see what was his what was his position when it comes to this war crime code, this and that. But I know that was not something of a favor of Senator Johnson, even though he signed it later on here. But Koga now, is he setting the tone? Would these errors be the influencer into this whole process here? Because of what they put together and the paper, they know that they have. But what I'm studying, you had a high HRN and this, and paper will not went that way there. I'm wondering here, definitely conversation will be taking place. You would ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to have a challenger. But is Koga best position? Because that's something he got to take the political risk. If he wants to go for it, what the law says, does he have to resign from the rep position?
No. He can remain as representative and run. If he even loses, he maintain his representative position.
That they buy one, that they need to take that one from them.
But yeah, Mr. So, right? Koga got nothing to lose, number one. Number two, like Rover is saying, Koga is the man in the race right now. That the man. So if Unity Party, like what Cece is saying is on course, but Unity Party can field a candidate by fielding a candidate that is formidable already in the race, but claim that candidate to be part of them. And the man here is Koga. Koga already done some dirty work in the house a few days. He all over the news. So the man is
only for Unity Party.
I don't know that one. I don't want them to the devil.
But you know, Terry, the way you're talking about Koga, then Koga will go. The next thing he's going to come create another majority blind in the Senate too.
But that the thing that we want because when the man show face in the Senate, normally we say that will come to us there. So
there is snake in that pedal. ALC, you get over a few days. Snake in that pedal.
Mr. Dacon, is that how pastor can talk?
No, you see,
but you see, listen. What did I? Hold on. Yeah, what I told you that last time. What are the three things that can rule the world? 3G.
You want to send me to summer school?
No, I said 3G. Guns, government, and what?
Okay, gentlemen.
So that's it. But anyway.
This is from 5G to 3G.
So,
yeah, the 3. But here's the thing, though. Go ahead. I'll do my closing.
Yeah, no, quickly here to just let you guys know, I know you're going to be a crazy, dicey schedule working on it in a week time. Special edition will be here on the local FM radio, except that people are going to be waking up early in the morning. Sister, you can wake up and get your tea. Terry, you can wake up and get your tea and go to work. That's going to be I want to talk politics. Yeah, it will be like a 5 a.m. Oh, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a special weekly edition going to be coming on the local FM stations in Liberia really. Man, we and Durham are going to wake up, so I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Look, this is the last word here. Is in conclusion, it's all come down to Mr. Bwaka's leadership with his current vice president to see who is the individual that Mr. Kuhn going to raise his hand and say, this is a candidate, or what are he going to talk to Mr. Bwakai, and this is a person I'm going to. Because just think about it though. He just changed about it within the day. Mr. Johnson died.
Okay. All right, but Joyce still trying to cause trouble here, and who knows? Because MDR,
that's why he did that, but he just changed about it that Monday. He changed about it that Monday, Tuesday. I think the following day, the senator died. So these are fascinating story, and people are hurt, and people right now it is time for us to cool the temperature down. I know right now it's hot in Nima County. It is time for the Nimada to come down. Let's cool our temperature. Let's rest. Let's put the senator to rest. Then we can pick up the politics in our play. But for now, it is time for bereavement. It's time to.
Man, that's a warrior that died. It's a politician. We got to start talking about his possible replacement now for the country to run. See, your boycott people, that's a weak political argument because you don't have.
No. We're talking about unity. It is not time for all the suffering among ourselves. It is time for us to support our political agenda.
They're supposed to come up with a candidate. What would that be? That would change the conversation. What I'm branding, the man, our party here, we get our own candidate. What happens?
MDR, they will be looking at the tribe that Jerry Bacon came from. Only 7 of them will be there.
Okay, you're good, man.
But that's all right. Hey, that's my tribe. I cannot disown that. I mean, that's what I do. We are not many in my country, so that's good.
I've met another big person before. We had the same joke. I don't know how many are you out there? So man, we're not playing there.
It's okay. I'm playing there. Where people plenty are John there, so I will be plenty.
But on a serious note, here is where the problem is going to come for the MDR. They're in a political coalition with the ruling party, a ruling coalition with the ruling party. A lot of their stalwarts are in key government places. They will have to have an agreement behind the scene with the United Party. I don't see a place where the MDR feels a candidate and the United Party feels a candidate. No. Because if they do that, it will become a tough thing for the MDR for the next 4 or 5 years.
No, but quickly here, I know we are, but then this burden is on the partner with Unity Party to pave that way because they have a greater portion to lose in the sense that they want to solidify their political grip. With the deal, whatever deal the late Johnson made with Boyka, with support, we don't know, or with Boyka and the Unity Party will be more consolatory now in giving back politically.
That's where we come in, and I think that's where both the political maturity and the political strong arming will come in. President Boyka can strong arm the MDR into supporting a UP candidate, or they can say, well, you know what, let's decide for them and get in something that they will take that candidate. That's going to be on there. But for me, really for me, I still support, if elections were here yesterday, I would still support if it was Joseph Boakai versus, Joe we had at the time, I still go with Joseph Boakai, no joke. But they were not, neither one of them were my first choices. Now, I'm saying this to say that I am looking to see an opposition win in Niba County for this seat. I'm looking to see an opposition check this seat because it resets the balance of power in the Senate. It gets some people from being way up here thinking they're reading everything
Yeah, we don't want to hear that you're talking.
and having some sense.
We don't want to hear that you're talking.
And for me, if the how to call it, the opposition can coalesce and run a good name person.
All right, guys.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be Edith Gunlow. It can be any other person that I've run before that got a name brand that can really run. Some of all would be hard pressed to join in ensuring that they win that seat. I want to see that seat removed from the column of the ruling party or the ruling coalition to the opposition bloc.
Okay. Sister, Terry, you agree with me?
No, I don't agree. I don't agree with him because the problem is, since they already got a side, he's supporting Honorable Tewon Gongo, and that is a good move for them. If the opposition can secure Nima County, they can pieces it, and that is what he's looking for. And he's a politician, but
all right, guys.
I hope and pray that JMB do make a mistake.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we're going to review this series. Mr. Goya, thank you so much. Okay, guys, to all our viewers, callers, and online Twitter, we want to thank you so much for this evening. George, you said we want to talk. I didn't hear from you again. I'm sure you still have my number, 682-433-8802. Call, let's have a conversation if it's still required. Until then, folks, have a pleasant day. Coming soon, LPR will be airing live on a local radio station, Big FM, in the nation's capital. The examiner starting ASAP. We will let you know, but in the next couple of weeks, a few days, we want to roll that program out in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.